Thank you for doing this, because obviously we love these kind of video kind of calls. Firstly, because the team watch them, so it's a great opportunity for the team to sort of, because when we do everything over the phone, it's hard sometimes to get that direct kind of feedback and appreciation from customers like yourself. So it is really valuable from that respect, and also for prospects thinking about using us. We work hard to provide sort of really good service in a sector that doesn't always have the best reputation. And so a lot of really good companies can kind of be tarnished with the brush of a handful of terrible ones. So it's an opportunity for people to kind of, see what actual customers think of us. So to sort of kick off, why did you consider using us to begin with? Why did you come to us?
So I did have my property on the market previously with somebody else. I found I was either doing a lot of the legwork myself, or communication was real poor. And although it was difficult because I had my property on the market at the time of a change in the market, so it was a difficult time anyway. And I felt as though we were pretty stagnant with where we were before. I was doing a little bit of research, and obviously I was wanting to hurry the process as best I could anyway. And obviously I stumbled across obviously yourselves. It wasn't through a recommendation or anything. It just so happened to be reading upon reviews. I kind of just thought, myself and my partner just had a conversation, was like, right, okay, let's go with it.
Excellent. Did you, I guess, what sort of were there any aspects of the service that drew you to it compared to other companies, or any reservations?
At the time, it was certainly more down to the sort of the speed aspect of things. Not only was it, it didn't necessarily focus on a local area, which is a problem I was having with a previous agent. They tend to focus on a local area where you were a national and you advertised nationally, and there was other there was like bigger people that would maybe get involved, rather than obviously somebody just coming to look at your property and sort of going, yeah, no, I'm not interested, or it's the same old, actually I've got another couple of properties that I want to view before making a decision. It never really felt like that, whereas that's what I was having previously.
No, absolutely. It's the classic, an agent will book a viewing on a property and then say, well, why not view these two down the road that aren't really aren't actually really suited.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And obviously when you started using us, how did you find the service? Were there any sort of, what did you like about it? Were there any members of the team you thought did a good job?
I liked the fact that it went through sort of stages. You weren't controlled as such, but you had somebody that you would speak to in different stages. So when I was setting up the account with yourselves, I cannot remember the lady's name, and she was just as polite as Alex was. And by the time I'd finished at that stage, she was then like, right, okay, that's it with me now. You go through to Alex. Alex will then control the account basically. And obviously anything that I needed to speak to Alex to, obviously he was there. And then even when Alex weren't there, I can appreciate it was probably all documented on a system. And obviously whoever then spoke to thereafter was up to date, and it was just as easy as it were speaking to Alex. So in terms of communication, I cannot fault it, not even in the slightest.
Amazing. Yeah, because I was looking through, when this was booked in, I noticed that actually we had spoken as well through the process.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, is that when Alex was away and things like that. So
yeah.
No, excellent. And in terms of how did you find sort of the timelines, once the property sold to completion, like how were there any aspects you thought?
For me, in terms of timelines, I mean, as I pointed out already, I entered the market at probably not the greatest time, but that isn't anything to do with an agent or the seller. It's just the market, and that's just the nature of the beast. But from the point of selling to completing, obviously Alex recommended the solicitors that you guys use, which is, I think it was Premier Property Lawyers, and absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was with the solicitor that the buyers actually had, funnily enough. And just to see the comparison, because I used those solicitors previously to purchase the property, and just the comparison between the two was just worlds apart. And even just the, once we'd sold and then actually completed, just a follow-up call then from Alex, just to sort of, just give the courtesy call, was really, really good.
Oh, awesome. And obviously when we found a buyer, the buyer paid a reservation deposit, which is something that's a bit different to what, traditional agents would do. I mean, is that something you felt helped? Is it something you liked?
Yeah, it was difficult, not difficult as such. It made me feel much more confident knowing that the buyer that was interested would be legitimate, because, you're not going to say, oh yeah, we'll put an offer in on the property and then actually go, actually, no, you know what, we're going to withdraw. However, and it was sod's law really, because obviously we found the buyers and we loved the buyers, but we also had another viewing, and then all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to put offers in, and and I was talking through it with Alex, and obviously how it would be for us personally and the buyers, and it wasn't then just invested as us as sellers, he was invested as those guys as buyers as well. So I mean, although that didn't affect me, it affected them greatly, because obviously me and Alex were discussing things at length to sort of make sure we made the right decision.
I guess looking back, what would you say to someone who was thinking of using us and wasn't sure, now that you've actually used us and you've got direct experience?
It's difficult, because obviously a lot of people tend to, and I was guilty of it myself, a lot of people tend to want to try and use local agents, because or in your head you think, well, that must just appeal more to sort of local area, speeds up the process. It isn't the case at all, because you will do the exact same as what that local agent will do and appeal to the local, obviously the people looking locally, but also nationally as well. Why would you not want thousands and thousands of other people looking at your property to boost that interest, to maybe, well, ultimately we're all selling property to make money on that property to buy other property. So why would we not try and make more from it? Or at least give it the opportunity to. And ultimately, if I was to recommend a business such as obviously British Home Sellers, British Home Buyers, I would definitely recommend it based on communication, friendliness, patience, especially with patience with myself, because at some points I was thinking, for goodness sake, I think Alex is going to get frustrated with me. Although I knew in my head maybe it's a simple question, I just can't let it rest, and Alex was more than happy to accommodate that. So, or anybody for that matter that I was speaking to at the point.
I mean, our whole ethos here is we work for you, the customer.
Yeah.
You probably had members of the team say that as well through the process, because it's like easy to forget that, like, we work for you. It is as simple as that, and that's how we approach it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with this. At no point did I feel as though, let's be honest, it's a commission-based role for you guys, and it never felt like that. Obviously with another agent, they was very reluctant to move with the market. They was very reluctant to go through a different pricing strategy. And I strongly believe, even still now, that was probably to sort of increase the commission that they'd maybe make off of the property or myself. Whereas for you guys, it was a case of, right, okay, this is not working. What other avenues have we got? And it wasn't a case of, this is the avenue that we've got and this is what we go with. It was multiple avenues, and what do you want to do? So even if it meant that I needed to have a day or two to think about it, which I had done on many occasions. And yeah, ultimately it was always what was in my best interest rather than what's in our best interest as a business and what can I make from it.
Absolutely. Oh, amazing. And often with online based companies, there's always a bit like you said, it's natural to want to go local, which is understandable. And if it's online, it feels faceless. It feels like, well, is it genuine? Is it a scam? Are they going to rip me off?
Yeah.
I guess, what would you say to people that are maybe thinking that or worried about that?
Honestly, and I'm glad I did what I did. I would honestly look at the reviews and listen to those, or understand that those reviews, that they are people that have been in that position selling a property with yourselves, and what they are writing in those reviews are 100% accurate. Because when you go on to write a review, whether it be through Trustpilot, whether it be through Google, a large majority of them are extremely positive. And there's a reason for that, because there's nothing really that I can sit here and say, oh, this is what I would improve on. It's difficult to say, because because there are obviously bigger companies out there, or bigger named companies out there. It's just, recommendations and getting those words out there, these types of conversations, they matter and they mean a lot, which is why I was really interested in actually, sort of doing it, because I'd never heard of, obviously, British property sellers or home sellers previously, and I think it's a name that should 100% be out there.
Thank you so much. Any final things you want to add, or do you feel like you've sort of covered everything you want to?
Obviously, I could thank everybody that I'd spoken to, and I particularly want to thank Alex, obviously, for his patience, because I can be extremely annoying with questions, and I can appreciate that. Obviously, that's what you guys are there for. But also for the recommendation of the lawyers as well. The lawyers were absolutely fantastic, and working hand in hand with you guys really did speed up the process on my end, and the communication was extremely effective as well. So yeah, really thank you from yourselves, the lawyers, Alex in particular. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Amazing. Honestly, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I'm just